What is up, people? Welcome to another edition of Baseball Talk on Rojas Media, which we will be changing the name soon of this platform. Little teaser there, a little teaser. Within the next, month or two, you'll be seeing something soon. So I just want to put that little teaser out there. This will not be Rojas Media soon, so look out for that. But here we are. We are continuing almost at the end here of our top five at each position. And with this lockout ongoing, who knows how long it's going to go. I might even do top five designated hitters after I do this top five pitchers video here. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll do top five relief pitchers for the heck of it, because the lockout keeps going. It's probably a good idea anyway. Why not just go through top five at each position? Top five managers, top five freaking bench coaches. Why the heck not? Let me not get too carried away. Let's talk about the pitchers. So, as you guys know, if you've been watching each position, we start with our honorable mentions, and then we'll go to the top five. So, honorable mention number one. Now, this is, I kind of put this out there on Twitter, this pitcher and somebody else as well, but this guy right here, Hall of Famer, Justin Verlander. Do we still consider Justin Verlander elite? I'm trying to figure that out still. I'm very torn on Justin Verlander still being elite, because 2 years ago, when he was healthy, 2018, 2019, back-to-back Cy Young-esque seasons. I think 18 he won the Cy Young, and then 19 he finished second to Garrett Cole. Could be wrong on that, but regardless, you could argue he was one of the top two pitchers in the game, top three, maybe the best pitcher in baseball. I think it's deGrom, but that's besides the point. You could argue Justin Verlander was one of the best pitchers in baseball. Here we are. He hasn't had a start since the shortened season 2020. He had one start that went, 5-6 innings? I mean, do we still consider him elite? I'm putting him up in the honorable mentions because I don't want to feel stupid when Verlander comes back healthy this year. Apparently in the bullpen sessions, he was throwing like 94 to 97. Coming off Tommy John surgery at 38, 39 years old? Unbelievable. So this season's going to be very telling for Justin Verlander. But I can't put him in the top five right now just because he's missed the last couple of seasons. That doesn't mean that we can't still consider him elite. We're going to find out, I think, the first half of the season. We'll be able to make that case whether or not he's back, whether or not he's really on the decline. Because, look, okay, you can say he's old. Well, he's getting old. He was old 2 years ago. 36 years old, and he was throwing 100, having Cy Young seasons. So, right, it is different. I get it. Tommy John and now he's going to be 38, 39 this year. I get it. But I couldn't find myself leaving off Verlander in the top 7 as an honorable mention. So Verlander is number 7. Honorable mention number 2. Kind of a tough one I had leaving off this list as well. I know there's been a lot of young pitchers who have had good years the last couple of seasons, like Alcantara and Montes, and but the game is filled with a bunch of good pitchers. I love pitching, and there's a lot of young and up-and-coming pitchers. But Clayton Kershaw, obviously, probably the best pitcher of his generation. It's him and the guy I just named before, Verlander, two of their best pitchers of their generation. And I just can't. And he dealt with an injury last year, not to the extent of Verlander where he's missing 2 seasons, but Kersh, I think he missed probably 10 to 15 starts last year. Still had a good season. I just still think there's an elite season left in Clayton Kershaw. And from that little thought that I can't get out of my mind, I couldn't leave him off this top 7 pitchers either. I know a lot of his teammates, like Julio Urias and someone I'm about to mention here in a second too. I couldn't leave him off. I couldn't. I can't write off one of the best pitchers of the last 30 to 40 years, at least, and the best pitcher of his generation. I couldn't do it. He's 33. I still think, or he's 33, 34, whatever. I still think he has an elite season left in him. It's somewhere. It's in there somewhere. And if he doesn't do it, it's because he gets injured or something. And he is getting older. So Kersh I think is going to have to be one of those guys where he's reinventing himself as he gets older. So I still think Kershaw has that one elite season left in him, and I couldn't leave him off this list. Let's get to the top 5. Number 5, Corbin Burns. And I know I've said guys, well, the guys had the body of work. Look, Corbin Burns had a historic season last year. Wins a Cy Young, had that whole stretch where he didn't walk a batter or, it was insane. Corbin Burns, we didn't know how good he actually was from the 2020 season. We saw that he had potential, and I think he finished top 5, top 10 in Cy Young voting. It was like, oh my God, this guy can be good, and he more than solidified that. He had a historic season. Yes, he missed a couple of starts here and there because of injuries, but regardless, he did win the Cy Young. I thought he was worthy of it. There might have been one or two other guys that were worthy of it as well, but regardless, I don't think people are mad at Burns really winning that Cy Young. And Corbin Burns, to me, one of the best pitchers in the game, that backdoor cutter, unbelievable. One of the best young pitchers in the game right now. And I couldn't leave him off the top 5 because of that historic season, man. I can't do it. Winning the Cy Young, so I can't do it. Corbin Burns is number 5. Number 4, Clayton Kershaw's teammate, Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler, also one of the best younger pitchers, I guess younger. I don't know if he's like super, super young, but, one of the better younger pitchers in the game. Coming off a career year where he also finished top 3, top 5 in the Cy Young voting. Since he's come into the majors, he's been nothing short of spectacular. Nothing short. And I think Walker Buehler probably at this point is definitely, well, obviously me having Buehler higher than Kershaw. Buehler's probably their ace. Urias, also is up there. But Buehler, since he's come into the league, finished top 5 in the Rookie of the Year voting. The year he was a rookie, obviously. And has been nothing short of one of the best pitchers in baseball. You can't not have him in your top 5 right now. Walker Buehler, just cold-blooded, always seems to come through when the Dodgers need him to, and he's been one of the nastier pitchers in baseball. So, number 3, talking about older pitchers here, right? Start of the video. Probably the best pitcher in baseball in terms of being an older pitcher, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer still, people were thinking maybe, the 2020 shortened season I don't think was all that great, but 2021, he had one of the best seasons of his career. One of his career low ERAs. He goes from Washington to a contender in the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he was probably the difference to why San Diego didn't get in the playoffs, to where there were rumblings that he was going to get traded to San Diego. To go into Los Angeles puts up incredible numbers, and the Dodgers make the playoffs over the Padres. They win the wild card. They get to the NLCS, excuse me. And Scherzer had a bit of trouble at the end of the playoffs, to where he said his arm was getting sore, and he maybe that's age, that's old age right there. But the numbers he put up last year, and he's gonna be a New York Met this year. Got signed to that historic contract, and he deserves it. I think he's one of those, Clemens, Randy Johnson guys where he's going to be still elite into late in his career, which he has been, and I think he's going to continue to be. I think he still has 2-3 years left in him where he's going to be elite. So Scherzer has to be in your top 3 right now. No doubt. No doubt. You could argue him. He wins the Cy Young last year. You could argue that. You could argue him. You could, Burns won it. You could maybe argue Zach Wheeler, but Scherzer was one of them. Number 2, Garrett Cole. And I know this might get some responses from people where it's like, oh, well, he didn't come through when the Yankees needed him to. They paid him all that money. I get it. He didn't show up when it was big for the Yankees in the wild card game and this and that. But he still finished top 3 in Cy Young voting. He's been a top 2 to 3 pitcher in baseball. You can argue someone on the New York Mets is the best pitcher in baseball, best pitcher in the National League. And you can argue I'm going to get to him in a second, but you can argue Garrett Cole is the best pitcher in the American League. Yes, Robbie Ray just won the Cy Young Award, but I don't know if I'm trusting him to be that every year. Garrett Cole has had Cy Young type of seasons the last 3 to 4 years straight. So Garrett Cole, still nasty stuff, throwing 100 with a nasty changeup, nasty breaking balls. Still, to me, one of the best pitchers in baseball, top 2, top 3 pitcher in baseball. He's my number 2. Number 1, don't even got to talk about it. Do we really even have to get to the numbers and what he's done, we all know. The alien, what planet is he from? I have no freaking idea. Jacob deGrom, New York Mets ace, the ace of baseball, best pitcher of his generation, maybe. Following Kershaw of his generation, now deGrom of his. Look, it's a shame he got hurt last year. Yes, I'm a Phillies fan. I don't like the New York Mets, but we all know how crucial it is to have Jacob deGrom healthy in baseball. We've we've seen it the last 3 or 4 years. Dominant seasons, unreal, historic seasons. The best thing for me since we saw Pedro Martinez when he was in his prime, and Pedro's arguably the best pitcher ever. Now, deGrom is on his way to a Hall of Fame career as long as he can stay healthy. Knock on wood, seriously, as long as he stays healthy. I know I'm a Phillies fan, but I love to watch him pitch. I love good pitching. So, deGrom, I don't even have to go through the numbers. I'll have him up on the screen because that's what I do for every player. But we don't really have to get through the numbers. We all know he's the best pitcher in baseball. There is no debate. Maybe Yankees fans will try to debate Garrett Cole, but we all know. Come on. Look, the numbers deGrom was putting up before he got hurt last year, people were saying he was like the clear-cut MVP. And pitchers don't win MVP very often. And there's still those people that think, oh, well, pitchers shouldn't be winning MVPs. But whatever. We all know deGrom would have won MVP had he just stayed healthy and kept on that trajectory. So, Jacob deGrom, number 1 pitcher in baseball. Don't debate me on that. We all know Jacob deGrom's the best pitcher in baseball still, as long as he can stay healthy. So wish the best to deGrom, and his health, because we want to see him back out there. Baseball needs that. So that's my list. I want to know your list. Please let me know. I love debating pitching, especially I love debating baseball, of course, but especially pitching. Love pitching. Pitching Ninja, shout out to you. My favorite account on Twitter. Super fan. And so I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Because I all these guys you can make the case for that they're right up there. So, but I want to hear, because there's a bunch of guys that I wrote down literally 25 to 30 names on my Google Doc while I was preparing for this, and I said, there's guys, I'm looking at them right now. Jose Barrios, Yu Darvish. I know he had kind of a rough second half. Lucas Giolito, Kevin Gausman, Sandy Alcantara, Lance Lynn, Eovaldi, Nathan Eovaldi had a great year last year for Boston. Brandon Woodruff, that entire Brewers staff, the top 3, that 3-headed monster, where it was Woodruff and Burns and Freddie Peralta, even their bottom 2. It was 1 through 5. One of the the greatest rotations I've seen in the last last good little while. So Zach Wheeler too. I didn't mention Zach Wheeler. I want to know, do you think Zach Wheeler is a top 5 pitcher in baseball right now? I know he had one really good elite season. But I wouldn't, before this year, I wasn't really considering him an elite pitcher, but maybe you can make the case. So I want to hear from you guys. Max Fried too. Max Fried. I'm just darting off names here. So let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on social media. It'll be all down here. I'm not even saying the names, but you get it. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube comments, all that stuff. Look out. New podcast coming within the next month. New name for the channel coming within the next month. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe.